Welcome to Moonlight Madness. Today we're doing the sign for water. You'll have to forgive my choice of media. I usually use my iPad, but the sound has been going in and out lately, so I'm just going to have to do free fall, something different. So I'm going to go around the board. First card we pulled is the Ten of Cups. This generally is talking about family life and how important that is to you right now. However that may look, whether it be family that you've adopted, as in friends that are like family, or just spending more time with your family. It's just saying it's a very fulfilling time, and raising children wisely and having all your Ten of Cups. It's the best card in the deck. So right now you may be focusing on family life and how to get that work-life balance. Maybe you've been overworking and not been having enough time to be with small children or grown children even, and this extra time you've got on your hands, you're going to maybe take advantage of that. The card I pulled that crosses your path is, of course, yourself, and that is the Prince of Cups. Now, you're coming across as a very romantic, captivating, dramatic, flirtatious. You may look into someone's eyes and recite poetry and then get distracted by something else that crosses your path. With the Prince of Cups, you tend to have a wandering eye. I guess that's the best way to put it. You can be very flirtatious and not even realise that you're flirting. So you just have this natural ability to entice other people, whether it be male or female. You just have this. You have it in spades. You have a stack of charisma, very charismatic, and being charismatic, you tend to attract a lot of people's attention, male and female. You also have a very emotional. How do I say it? You can be quite emotional, so it can overwhelm you at times, all your emotions. But your heart is made of glass, so it's very fragile. It's like handled with care, is what I would talk about. Someone that is that emotionally vulnerable. The card and I've got the crystal I pulled for that was the black onyx for protection. So with your heart, you want to protect it because your heart is so soft and vulnerable and open, and you need to protect all that vulnerability. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed because you've been too vulnerable recently. And that's not a good place to be if you're an independent person as well. I know I hate being vulnerable, but I have to be sometimes, and that's really hard for me. I like to be strong and independent. I have a lot of water placements in my chart. I have Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. On the bottom, it says the Lovers card. It talks about a union that you may have had in the past between, that may have been a best friend that you ended up marrying. They could have been in the military because you've got military background here. Well, they may have had a background in military. These two are getting married by the angel. The Lovers also represents Gemini, so you may have Gemini in your chart, and they're getting married together. And they are represented by the courage to take on, and the dedication of the military is the dedication to the partnership. Recent past, we've got the Ten of Swords, and that talks about endings of addiction, ending of a cycle. The Ten of Swords is like there's no more room to move. There's 10 swords in your back. You may have had to have a breakdown, a physical or a mental breakdown, I'm picking up for some people because of the swords representing the intellect, because it's also Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. So the swords are swords of truth. Maybe you had to cut through a couple of truths that you had to lay bare and face head on. Now, swords also represent, can be weeks or months, but from what I gather, Swords usually is weeks. So 10 weeks ago, you may have had some type of clarity on your situation and what you needed to do to fix it in your home life. Maybe your home life was suffering due to being overworked and burnt out. The next card I pulled is the Awakening card. So because we had the Prince of Summer, and then you combine that with the Awakening, which is to me is the Hangman, it represents looking at something differently. Maybe, he's upside down and he's getting enlightenment. See, he's got that aura around his head. He's getting enlightenment by looking at something in a different way, a different perspective. I've got a t-shirt, which I love, And it's got written on it perspective, because it's all about how you look at a situation. You can look at it like, oh, I failed at something, or I had to lose something in order to gain something else. And sometimes when you take a break, you get that time away to reflect on what is important and what is not. I was talking to my son yesterday. We went to the dawn service up the top of town for the Anzac parade, and he was saying that in Japan, people don't talk, they're very quiet. I said, why? He said, because they don't like boisterousness, they don't like people that are loud. They are quiet because they are in deep reflection. I said, I can understand deep reflection, because that's what Easter is about. It's, nothing's open. We're forced to stay home, and because we can't get food very easily, we're forced to look at ourselves and look at what we're doing in life, and maybe just reflecting on our next move. I think that's what Easter and Anzac Day is for, is deep reflection. I agreed with him. It's like a Zen moment. He said he really loved the peacefulness of the Japanese when he went there. Now, I've got crossing this. This crystal is called smoky quartz. It's ideal for Pisces in particular. It helps to ground them. All that emotion can be overwhelming, and that helps to ground it. So change the way you're looking at it, the situation, embrace your uniqueness and a temporary pause in the action. People may look at you as kind of off the charts, a bit weird, a bit out there, a bit woo-woo, as I like to call it. I've never been normal, as people know. I'm very out there, very loud and proud. I'm the opposite of quiet. I can be quiet, I can be introverted, and I can be extroverted. It depends who I'm with, and when it calls for being either or either. I can go in and out. That's just my dual nature, PTSD complex. So we go in and out of introvert and extrovert. But it's saying here that, your quirkiness is what makes you unique. You can't fit into society or societal norms. Sometimes we have to push societal norms in order to change people's viewpoints of how things are. And the way things were done 20 years ago is not the way things are done now. I'm looking at working for an organisation called Red Frog, and they weren't around 20 years ago, as far as I remember, or I didn't know about them. They're a private organisation that helps people with expressing their needs if they've got disabilities like autism spectrum. And these kids get to punch it out with punching bags and just express how they feel, because they have to be quiet at school, and all that quietness underneath is all that emotion that they have to repress for 6 to 8 hours a day at school. So it's a really good way to express it in a safe environment. So I'm looking at doing volunteer work for that. Husband and wife team, they started it a long time ago, but I used to walk past there when I lived temporarily in housing, temporary accommodation, and I thought that they were outstanding what they did. I saw their work firsthand, so I wanted to be part of that. Then you've got here someone around you who's a fire sign, whether it's you or it's an aspect of yourself. You can have different natal charts, different astrological placements that can affect how you come across or how you feel on a particular day. So some days you may feel introverted, and that's, the quieter water signs, and then other days you could be quite fiery if you've got a placement. Say I've got a placement in Aries. That's my rising sign. The hour I was born, which was 10:40, which is Aries. So I'm a lot like Aries in a lot of situations. Very driven, very goal orientated. Can be quite fiery. I can be quite fiery when you annoy me. You push me hard enough. It's talking about Aries, Sagittarian, or Leo energy, and they're brilliant. They're loyal. They're talented. They're friendly. They'll be there in your corner when you need them. They're the life of the party, and they have to try and maintain a balance between work and home life as well, because they can get quite bogged down with the details. I know lots of people that are fire signs that are very creative, driven, and what's the word I've got? It's they're a bit too hard on themselves. Yeah, so that's possibly you. You may have signs of trying to juggle several things at once, whether you're a multitasker, and most of them are. The fire signs like to be multitaskers because they're creative. They could be writing a script. They could be working on their fitness. They could be raising children. They could be behind the camera, working in media. They're fun. As I said, they like to sing, they like to dance, they like to act, and they get caught up in all these projects that sometimes they get overwhelmed, and then they just fall in a deep depression because they can't accomplish all of it because they're just one person. You can't do everything on your own in one day. The independence is very prevalent with Aquarius. Aquarius as well. Aries, Sag, and Leo. They're very independent. They don't like relying on people. They like doing things themselves. I found this behind my fridge the other day when I did a big clean up. This is carnelian. Carnelian is confidence, and it's really good if you're lacking confidence, if you've been away from work for a while, or you may feel small. I take carnelian on my person, and I find that my confidence will soar because I've got that energy, that vitality, that fire, and that's what creativity is that spark or passion. For a passion project, you may be looking at doing something else that makes you passionate about it again. You might have gone into a false sense of calm, and maybe something that was very good for you at first has become tired. You're not as enthusiastic anymore. You've lost your spark. So then we've got here around you, your superpower is your ability to help others. The Six of Pentacles is in the next 6 years, you may be volunteering your services, whether that be through how to do filming, how to do, if you're an actress or actor, how to do acting classes, singing classes, drawing classes. You might want to do a how-to video, like be an influencer. Or you might just want to go help out in those areas and sort of give you a spin on it. I think there's one called Actors on Actors. That's a Q&A for people that talk about what movies they've done and how they went about it in a certain scene and what they could have done better or could. I think that's really good to give positive feedback or get feedback from people in your industry, whether you get that through art and you go to an art class and people can sit there and help you perfect what you're doing through encouragement and little pearls of wisdom that they may have had that had helped them when they were starting out doing a new hobby or vocation. There's also an inflow of money coming as well, or repaying or borrowing wisely or repaying a debt. The next card I've got is your hopes and fears, and this is to do with the sun, which is children. So if you're going to go working with children like I was talking about, it may give you a different perspective on life. You may have more joy and more fun because you're hanging out with either your children or other people's children, and you get to explore that childlike innocence of when you were possibly young or when your children were young, and you get taken back like a time travel back to when you had young children. And it's the plans that work out perfectly. It's the sun. It's the best, happiest card in the deck. Gratitude for the blessings of life. It's also about learning. So you may be doing a new hobbies, learning, because the unicorn represents learning. You could be also on a new diet regime, a new fitness regime, which may help you cope with everyday stresses of life. And I think this is what I found. If you get your diet right and your exercise right, usually the mental health will improve and follow. That's what I found through going to therapy and counselling. The next card, the stone I pulled up was Tiger's Eye, which is for protection. So because I see Leo Lion, because we've got the fire with the sun, the Tiger's Eye for me is like your third eye is opening up, but it's also protecting what you have. So you can see forward events, future events. Then the next card I pulled is the Ace of Winter. This is like a download, so I call this it's in a week's time. You're going to get terrific insights, maybe some astral dreams that you're visiting, and it's coming through the crown chakra. So maybe wearing purple or purple shampoo will help open up the crown chakra, which is the head, where we get our downloads, and it's talking about that. There's challenges on the way, but you may find new amazing ideas through your sleep. I have a dream journal, and I write in it. I have to write in it this morning because it usually represents something that you haven't yet discovered. Clear quartz is what I hold. when I'm trying to breathe in positive energy, and then I breathe out for 6 counts. Breath work with the negative. So breathing in positive, breathing out negative energy. It's just a little meditation thing that I learned in a group meditation that I did, group therapy work. And she said that the breath work is the most important thing. If you're feeling a little bit spacey or a bit dazed, or you're trying to connect with yourself, the 5 senses, smell, touch, taste, touch something around you to ground you if you're a bit out there. Trust me when I say, when you're a psychic medium, you're always out there. I was watching this really good clip by Alison Dwyer, and she said she's the medium. That's that movie that she made in all those books. And she's a Scorpion, I think. No, sorry, she's an Aquarium. And she said that when she's talked to people who have near-death experiences, I've had like 3, they come back with heightened psychic abilities to the point where there is no veil between the 3D and the 5D. There's no how would you say? There's no veil. You can see clearly people that have passed over that may just come and visit you through the nighttime in your sleep or through the daytime. I get both. I get day and night. So I broke them the other day, dark sunglasses so I don't have to see them. They only come through at certain times of the day, usually around 11 and 1. That's when I get my best impressions. I'm learning how to deal with them, but I now know it's normal. It's my new normal, because before I had this near-death experience, I didn't see people that had passed over through the daytime. However, now I see them through the daytime. If I'm thinking about someone, they'll pop through that that's passed over, or I'll be asleep and I will dream about them, because they can visit you at night time. It's easier for them to come through because you're at rest, you're at peace. That's all I have for you today. I hope this helps someone out there that may be a Pisces, because we've got the Hangman and we've got the Prince of Cups. But yeah, you may just need to take a little bit of time out. And the moon, I forgot the moon. The moon is the near future. It talks about being behind the scenes. So you could be a producer and you may be looking at things. You may decide to try and get a psychic reading with somebody that's reputable, so you can get to know your next step. You might need a little bit of clarification. You want someone to read your cards for you, an empath or a psychic medium. Psychics work with what they pick up around them. Mediums also work with dead people, or people that have passed over. That's all I have for you today. Thank you.